Namaskar friends, I welcome you all to video 4 of week 8. In this video, we'll discuss about stylometry, plagiarism and ghostwriting. How computational linguistics detects hidden authorship. Yes, we'll talk about when style becomes a measurable identity. Friends, today we'll move into the stylometry, an area of forensic linguistics that combines linguistic inside the computational tools to measure writing style. Every writer leaves traces in the writing. For example, the patterns that are stable, quantifiable, and statistically meaningful. Friends, stylometry captures these traces and uses them to identify or differentiate authors. It is a powerful tool in plagiarism investigation, ghostwriting detection, and even authorship disputes. Friends, let's understand what is stylometry. Stylometry is the quantitative analysis of writing style. Instead of relying only on expert intuition, stylometry uses measurable features such as word frequency, sentence length distribution, function word usage, and syntactic patterns. These features form a stylistic signature. If two documents share highly similar stylistic patterns, they may have a common author. If the patterns diverge significantly, authorship becomes doubtful. We need to understand why this stylometry matters much in forensic work. Friends, stylometry expands the capability of forensic linguistics by adding statistical length to linguistic judgment. It can analyze large volume of text, identify patterns invisible to the naked eye, and provide probability-based evaluations of authorship. Friends, courts increasingly accept stylometric analysis when accompanied by expert interpretation. It is particularly useful in digital communication where data is abundant, like emails, messages, blogs, articles, or reports, and many more. At that time, this can be the best way to identify the author. Now, when we talk about plagiarism detection, now what is plagiarism? Plagiarism is something when language reveals the borrowed thought. Friends, plagiarism is not only about copying sentences, it is often about borrowing style. Even when someone paraphrases or rewrites content, the underlying syntactic structures, sequencing or ideas, and word choice patterns may remain similar. Stylometry can detect these subtler forms of plagiarism. When styles do not align with the writer's non-profile or align too closely with another writer's profile, it raises suspicion. Friends, plagiarism leaves traces when rewriting cannot fully erase. Now, let's talk about ghostwriting. When another person's voice speaks through you. Yes, ghostwriting documents create a mismatch between the supposed author and the text. Let's talk about this in detail with an example. A politician's speech may sound too academic, or a student's assignment may suddenly show advanced syntactic sophistication. Stylometry can compare the questioned document with the person's non-writing samples. If there is a significant stylistic shift, ghostwriting becomes a plausible explanation. Friends, ghostwriting is common, but in legal or academic contexts, it becomes evidence of misinterpretation. If we talk about the core stylometric features, friends, the signals hidden in the text can be surfaced using stylometric features. Stylometry focuses on stable writing features that authors do not consciously control. This include frequency of functional words, preference for particular syntactic constructions, average sentence length, distribution of sentence types, typical phrase patterns, and collocation networks. Friends, these features remain consistent across a writer's work. And when a questioned document deviates sharply from these features, authorship authenticity becomes doubtful. Now, we need to understand the power of function words in stylometry. The function words, they are very small words like article the, and, of, but, if, but they carry no content meaning but structured sentences. They can work as maybe a filler, but they are very important to form a structure of sentence. Writers use these unconsciously, making them extremely stable indicators of authorship. That's why the words, rather small words, which have no strong meaning in the sentence, however they play a vital role in forming a sentence, they become the clue for revealing the identity of the author. Stylometric software maps the frequency and pattern of functional words which are found across texts. If a question document's function word profile diverges significantly from the non-profile, stylometry flags the mismatch. Friends, function words do not lie. They reveal the true linguistic identity. Let's understand through one case study, one example where stylometry is found in plagiarism detection. In a university case, a student submitted an essay or an assignment, we can say, that did not match his or her previous writing assignments. Stylometric comparison showed unusually high similarity between the essay and a published online article, not only in vocabulary but in sentence structure and function word usage too. Even though the student has rephrased sentences, the stylometric patterns betrayed the borrowed structure. The analysis supported the academic integrity investigation. In another case, where one can find ghostwriting in corporate communication, a corporate manager submitted a report containing highly advanced business vocabulary and a sophisticated syntactic structure inconsistent with earlier reports. Friends, stylometric analysis revealed strong alignment with the writing style of another employee who later confessed to drafting the document. The mismatch in stylistic stability across the manager's previous documents exposed that ghostwriting. Now, if we talk about stylometry in legal investigations. When evidence speaks through statistics, stylometry has been used to evaluate ransom letters, extremist manifestos, anonymous blog posts, political propaganda, and disputed legal documents. It can help reduce suspect pools by identifying stylistic alignment, support handwriting experts in authorship attribution. Even it can provide quantitative backing to linguistic expert opinion. When combined with discourse analysis, stylometry becomes a powerful investigative tool. Now, there are limitations too, right, of stylometry. Stylometry is powerful but must be used responsibly. It cannot definitively prove authorship. It can show similarity or divergence. It requires enough text for statistical reliability. It must be interpreted by a trained expert who understands linguistic nuance beyond algorithms. Ethical practice demands the stylometric results be presented as supportive evidence, as not sole evidence. Responsible analysis protects justice while preventing overinterpretation. Let's talk about stylometric tools and techniques used in analysis. Investigators use tools that measure word frequency, build stylistic signatures, compute similarity scores, and visualize multi-dimensional stylistic space. These tools create clusters of stylistically similar documents. When a questioned document text appears in or outside a cluster, investigators evaluate authorship probability. And friends, the combination of software and human expertise leads to reliable conclusions. Now, you must understand that style cannot hide even when the words are changed. You now understand how writing carries a measurable identity and how computational linguistics can expose plagiarism, identify ghostwriting, and support authorship disputes. Friends, I'm sure that you must be enjoying this interesting journey of forensic linguistics. In the next session, we'll explore timed versus handwritten documents, a fascinating comparison that reveals how medium shapes linguistic behavior while preserving stylistic identity. Thank you very much for joining this deep dive into the stylometry. Until I catch you in the next video, stay tuned to the course. Till then, thank you very much.